This is a poem I wrote called Dublin You Are. I wrote it in 2015 or 2016 and it was commissioned by Dublin City Council for the European Capital Culture Campaign. To be quite honest, I was scared of writing it in the first place, and I did a lot of research and I looked at Louis MacNeice and pop culture and high art and all those different things, and I wrote most of it actually on a tour around Denmark, as it happens, and I tend not to get too nervous, but I get nervous reading a poem anew for the first time or off page for the first time, and the first people to hear it were a bunch of Danish kids, and I really stumbled across it, but I got there eventually, and yeah, it's probably the best thing I've written, to be honest with you, and it came about through a chance meeting at the Body and Soul Festival. My friend Miles O'Reilly runs a music stage there, and the musical act didn't show up, so instead of having dead air, he had me jump up and do a few poems. And there was a lady in the audience called Claire Flynn, who is now a primary school teacher, but she was working for the campaign, and she asked me to write this poem. And I thought it was drunken talk in a field, but she followed up, in fairness to her, and that's where basically this poem came from, and it goes like this. Dublin. You are grey brick upon brick full of tarmac and hips or pricks, just face it. All other places pale in comparison, you are more than some former Saxon garrison, Dublin. Your warmth came too late for John Corrie, Dublin, are you even sorry, Dublin? You're divided by more than the Liffey. You said yes to equality, it's about bloom and time, yet Dublin, you always proclaimed to cherish all Dublin. Your panties are on Capel Street, compromising any papal feats, Dublin. Jedward, awkward, Dublin. You're more than a settlement on the Poddle, but Dublin, what's a crack with coddle? It's shite. Why don't you just admit it, Dublin? You brought back Sam again. But when did you go from the clash of the Ash to exchanging gold for cash, Dublin? Dublin, Oblina, Ballia Ahaclia, and 180 other tongues your citizens are using to name you, so Cade Mila Falcha to all. Dublin, where the power is held by too few in the Dáil. Dublin, when will you revolt again? 1988 wasn't your true millennium, despite the 50p's in milk bottles. Dublin, you're mine, but I'm happy to share you. Dublin, from RTE, TCD, UCD, U2, SIP2, IFSC, and acrimonious temple bar STDs, ODs, 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 and OMGs. No longer the second city, yet you play second fiddle to Google and Guinness to Facebook and on social twits. Dublin, look at yourself. Your tower blocks and tenements are an excuse for a solution. Dublin, come here that I take me more than rapid dirt birds and banjacks, bowsies, and alright story, but yeah, sure, it's all good. Jays that scald you, why go bald you, McSorry the lawyer. Dublin, I cry for you. Dublin, you're a tough bastard. Yet you're full of the softness of all the people on your streets. Margaret Dunn dancing on O'Connell Street, the Dice Man Tom McGinty miming on Graven Street, Pat Inglesby with his poems on Westmoreland Street, and your Mollies, Malone, Ivers and Bloom, the Daly, Sally, Sandy Mountain, the Gospel of Kelly, Drew, McKenna and Sheehan, the Borstal boys like Brendan Bean, to Galancer, Joyce and Evelyn looking out to sea. Snow falling slowly on the dead in Glasnevin, Glen and Marquette, the one strolling, to Christy Brown, willfully controlling a foot to paint pictures and poems to your heroines. Brenda Fricker, the city's mother, and Maureen O'Hara, an enchanting other. Dublin, you are boom and bust, running wild and swift. Dublin, can I trust you? Dublin, your true blue is Harry Clark's cobalt. Dublin, from a thin Lizzie Dicey Riley to a floozy in a jacuzzi, God-fearing. Dublin, shooting down Veronica Guerin. Dublin, your bang bang, 40 coats. Zosimus, a Blind Street poet. Dublin, you were all of us, and all are we yet to come. So let's go to the grave diggers and have a pint. Dublin, remember Stardust and all your waltzing lovers. Big Jim's arms are outstretched, tourism people, yet are we under the thumb again, Dublin. Your GPO columns are scarred with the crackle of gunshots, Dublin. Your CCTV will never yield your essence like the shots of Arthur Field's man on bridge. You are the pool bag towers and the poor showers begging on Bachelor's Walk. Dublin, you're all talk. Yet you have my attention. From Robbie Keane to Paula Me and Dublin's calling, ooh, ah, Paul McGrath, while some say up the Ra, Dublin. Bridging gaps with Joyce and Beckett and finally Rosie Hackett, Dublin. Paddy Finnegan was forced to sell the big issue on your streets while Daffodil Mulligan was played the Bowron beats. Dublin, you say the lish. Dublin, you're full of the Polish and Brazilian speaking Portuguese, and now the Chinese have turned Parnell Street into Chinatown. Dublin, don't let them down. Dublin, don't forget. No blacks, no dogs, no Irish. Dublin perish the thought of you being racist. Dublin good Cullen fed the GP owners heading Vermont. Oh, Dublin, your bay in braces. Despite the Sellafield sea, your mountains frame all your natural beauty. Dublin, no Whalen Banshee stricken with TB. Dublin, you're European. But you could be Craggy Island in disguise. Gabriel Conroy is heading west because of an epiphany. Just saying, Dublin, you only painted your post boxes green. Is the Abbey doing all you dreamed? Dublin are notorious for clampers, senators and seagulls, to Celtic tigers and septic tanks, to singing high kings and rampaging Vikings. Dublin, come here. Take me for the teddies and a romantic stroll down by the pier. Dublin, you're a dancing place. A sprawling space of villages and many faces on the edge of an island that's been eroded by the Atlantic, battling with being romanticised. Dublin, are you dynamic? Struggling with identity? Changing for the better? Changing for us? Don't be scared to change. Don't be scared. We're with you. Always. My friend, my home. Mentioned 50 times in this poem, we live in you, with you, my city, my Cree. I love you. Most of the time you see Dublin, you are me. So that's Dublin You Are. Probably the best thing I've written. And it's changed my life, which is maybe a bit of an unusual thing to say that a poem can change your life. But there was a video that went along with that, and it went viral, and I got several thousand emails from people all around the world about it, which was I was quite taken aback by, but it seemed to really connect with people, and not just Dubliners as well, because I sort of say how great Dublin is, but also equally how bad it can be as well, and I think that's why I get away with saying it beyond the pale, as it were, and hopefully it's an honest reflection of Dublin of now. As I say, Louis MacNeice has his poem Dublin, and even the opening lines are a little tip of the cap to his poem, and I'm pretty proud of that one, and yeah, so that's that.